I've never learned anything from successes.
I'm learning a lot of lessons about delegation. I'm learning a lot of lessons that not everyone's going to be happy.
And I've done a lot of things too in my life, like work-wise, like different industries. That's a cool thing.
It's really input versus output. The more files that I touch, the more opportunities I have at bat, the better at opening I'm going to be, the better at closing I'm going to be, and the more paychecks I'm going to be able to touch.
You know, I was learning this weekend is I had a sprint of work, and then I had a weekend where it wasn't work, went crazy, and was like, oh. Today's going to be a podcast with Cameron and Tad, the owner of Bluegrass Lending and a guy who works for him for now. We'll see. The future is unknown. But we're going to go into things such as marketing, how to scale business, how to be better at business funding, how to convey your message to people who maybe want to buy your product. This is not just for people in the business lending space, but business owners in general. Let's jump right in. What up, dog?
How we doing?
We're doing.
Hell yeah, I like the new studio.
It's very pretty.
It might be a prettier backdrop than the other one, but obviously the other one's setup is nicer.
Yeah, it's like there's two different kinds of pretty. There's pretty where it's like I like the architecture, and there's pretty of like feels nice outside. This is feels nice outside pretty. The other one's like I like the architecture.
Yeah.
Pretty. So it kind of varies. But so right now I got plenty of life changes happening. You're scaling at all kinds of speeds, super, super fast. What are some of the lessons What are some of the lessons that life is teaching you right now?
I'm learning a lot of lessons about delegation. I'm learning a lot of lessons that not everyone's going to be happy. There's always going to be someone that's disagreeing with you in some way, shape, or form. And I think in some way, shape, or form, was a people pleaser during the initial periods of my career. Like I wanted everyone on my team to be happy, and I went above and beyond to ensure that I carved out time for them one-on-one, even if to get them on the same page as me. And then I just started realizing like not everyone's going to be on the same page as me all the time, but they're still going to execute the job. They're probably still going to do it well as long as the directions are clear. And even though they don't agree with the direction that we're going, like I have to trust that I have the most context. And I'm the one that sees every single department, not just one siloed department, right? The one that has, the most touch points with all the people within the organization. It's, context is that key word there. So I think that's been a relief of anxiety that comes with being an owner is just, hey, it's okay. Not everyone's going to agree, but you got the authority to make the decision. You want everyone to be happy as much as you can. You want everyone to be informed. You want everyone to be a part of it. You want everyone to speak their 2 cents. You want to consider their 2 cents. You don't want to just give an opportunity for them to speak their 2 cents and not consider it. Like you want to have them speak, and it's not just a box you're checking off. You actually do truly want to consider it. But then most importantly, you're going to do what your gut tells you to do, which is why we got here in the first place. Because, you are the guy who's running the show, and, you have the most to lose and the most to gain, and you're taking the risk. So.
And with that, you're saying you're learning to delegate, but as you kind of grew up or were advancing in the space, it wasn't always about delegation. It was like, hey, I just got to do it all myself. What are those English? What are those mindset shifts throughout that growth of like, a lot of people say model the rise, don't model the current stature. So when you were rising as a broker, what were those character traits that you had to deploy to like just outperform the rest?
Well, I think as a broker, it is input versus output to many degrees. I mean, you could be cold calling without intention, and you might be able to get 1,000 calls done with no applications. But if you have a brain and you're using intention and you're utilizing, forward education, it's really input versus output. The more files that I touch, the more opportunities I have at bat, the better at opening I'm going to be, the better at closing I'm going to be, and the more paychecks I'm going to be able to touch. It's more abstract now. Like everything wants to be revenue driving, but there's a lot of administrative work or workflow or areas that we have to invest in, people that you have to invest in to get there. And sometimes it doesn't always it doesn't always reflect a direct paycheck. It directs like indirect revenue. So like this system becoming more robust is going to have a chain reaction that reflects revenue. But I think that me being involved in every single department, me making every single decision was a big holdback for us. Like we have smart people on the team. We have teams that have entrepreneurial spirit. Some of the people on the team could probably run their own business. We just, I think, have a mutual respect that we're going to grow a much bigger business together. And I don't want to know everything. I want to give people creative freedom to like say yes or no within a budget range. And I think that's hard for a new business owner to be able to do, is like to let go. So it's like at the beginning, you want to hold, control, control, control. And then you start going at scale and it's like, now I need to let go, let go, let go. And that's a tough transition that requires a lot of maturity and patience to be able to accomplish correctly. You have to watch people make mistakes that you know you wouldn't make yourself and create learning lessons out of it.
Yeah. And something that you said there that kind of triggered another thought is, we spend so much of our time trying to stay attached to something, attached to a goal, attached to an outcome, attached to closing a sale, that the attachment drives away the thing you actually want. And the detachment is where success really thrives. Even in a sale, when you detach from the outcome, the sale goes better because you're not needy. You're not having to have this thing work.
Yeah, very true. So when you are beginning in sales, every sale matters so much. You can feel that on the other end of the phone as the client, versus now when I train sales, I don't need that paycheck. So I have way less pressure on my shoulders, which means I'm going to perform much better. Like I'm just going to be able to say things in a more fluid, creative way. So yeah, no, I identify with that. It was at first I didn't know where you were going with it, but it came back in at the end. So, but yes, the more you let go and the more you detach, the more clear-headed you get. It's like, Bill Gates goes on a retreat a few times a year and he just doesn't want to see anyone. Maybe his wife doesn't touch his phone. And it's just like a thinking incubation trip. It's like, hey, let me just think. Let me just see what's going on. And maybe I can find some eureka moments within my business that I wasn't seeing because I was caught up in the day-to-day or the emails or the texts or the phone calls.
Absolutely. One of the lessons that I was learning this weekend is I had a sprint of work. And then I had a weekend where it wasn't work, went crazy and was like, oh. But I know like you have to allow yourself time to think freely, because that's when your best ideas come. And that's when like the growth happens.
You said it was when you're charging your Tesla.
I love my just have to sit with my thoughts time.
Yeah.
I hate it. I do hate it. But I love the outcomes that it produces. So I think with most reps, and I think even people in the space and business life, everything, we're so like go, that for us, it is hard to rest. Like it is hard to turn off. But us allowing that turn off, like yesterday was a pretty lax day for me. I was like, great. I felt like there was like progress in like what was happening with me. So I was like, cool, we can keep going. Do you find with you, like, does that time away really allow you to come back better and like more driven?
Yeah. If I actually give myself a chance to detach, because sometimes I'm just like, even when I'm on a break, I'm still stressed about something. And then I ask myself like, hey, being stressed about this, is this going to help us or is this going to hurt us? And if it's like only just, degrading my mental health, it's like, it's probably not worth it. So you have to find ways to truly detach. And then when you do think about your business, it's in the light of creativity, if you will. But I think it's a muscle, because there's this guy I see on social media recently, and he's like, every day for 30 minutes, I'm going to do nothing. And he just films himself doing nothing and like fast forwards it. So it's like a quick little short, but you could just see him like fidgeting and stuff. But as time goes on, he becomes more and more calm. And the point is it's like meditation, like it's a skill. It's a muscle that you can build. And if you don't do it for a while, that muscle will get worse, just like if you're training. But yeah, it's something that you just got to listen to your body. You got to listen to your body, because you'll start having brain fog. You'll start not producing the way that you want to produce. You'll start talking to people and having a shorter leash on your patience and your stress levels and blowing up on people more.
And that the productivity you have pushing through that point of, because I spent plenty of time pushing through how I feel. Just being like, we just got to work, we just got to do it. And I get a lot of stuff done. But I also get a lot of stuff done when I've recouped and done the things that I need to do. And then I can have a 3-day period where I can get more done than, let's say, a week of like running on low or being like, just push through.
Well, sometimes we change our minds so much that taking a step to take a break to figure out, hey, this is the actual action plan that we're going to carry out and stick with is better, because then we confuse work with progress. Like maybe we got 10 things done today, but it's not the same workflow that we're going to keep next week because we didn't take time to slow down and think it through.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hyper focus. Like speaking of the CRM build we're doing right now, we have a bunch of ideas. Me and you sit down. We have 3 new businesses we can start like that. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to learn this damn thing. And I had a lot of resistance because I don't like the CRM we're using.
Yeah,
it's not my number one choice.
Yeah,
I'm learning to like it because it has a lot of cool features. But man, is it like it's like an Android phone, and I'm just not an Android phone user.
Yeah,
at all. But I sat down for it's probably like just a week straight now, and it was every day for like 8 hours a day. CRM world.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
And now I got it. We're built, and we're like ready to launch. And has so many cool functions.
Well, that's a product of a hyper focus, but then the other part is like, well, we're doing the custom code too. So it's like, if we would have sat back and really thought things through and done the research correctly, maybe we would have already been like a couple months into the custom code and not needed it, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's also a part of we kind of learn on our feet. So it's like we'd rather go break things and touch things and, build it and then take it down than just read about it on the internet or through YouTube. So
you learn so much by breaking things.
By breaking it, yeah.
Like we're learning new
it's
things
like a
about
little
TCR.
It's like a little kid. Like the little kid wants to knock down the block building, right? And they learn about, we want to go build that block building and then knock that shit down.
I've never learned anything from successes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. It gives me some ideas, but like a lot of times I feel like if something really works out, I'm like, I don't really know why. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But it's through all the mess ups where I try to fix something that's not working where I'm like, oh,
yeah,
now I can recreate the success.
That's why I don't like gambling, because I could gain 50 grand and I'm like, oh, okay. But if I lost like $500, I'm like, and it haunts me.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the night, I'm like, I'm a failure. Like I lost $500 at the blackjack table. And so it's like the same thing with success versus failure. You don't learn anything from success. It's like kind of hard because we train our people to not deal with the same failure that we might have dealt with. But in reality, that's what builds their character. And that's what gives you nightmares at night saying, I don't want to be that type of guy that is exposed to this type of failure. I mean, that rock bottom is what fuels people. So, but that's just funny about the gambling component. Because I know the house is always going to win. So more often than not, I'm going to be 49-51. Even if I'm best case scenario, I'm still going to be 51% losing.
Yeah. And
that loss just sits with me so much longer than the win, to the point where it's not even worth it.
Yeah. It's like the things that, drain your energy versus like fill you up. And
Yeah.
You're self-aware enough to know like, and people in that world just aren't self-aware enough to know that this isn't really like what I want.
Yeah.
But you got to know that, I like failing. I like losing because it's going to teach me something.
Yeah.
Because everything, no matter what it is a lesson to an extent of like, hey, we tried a CRM, we tried this code, we tried this thing. We're like, and you can question, be like, maybe everyone didn't tell us the things we thought were true. Like maybe there's more going on here than we thought, but I wouldn't have known that if I didn't try to do the thing.
Yeah.
With everything, even the CRM. I know a cool thing for us is we're starting to get some metrics now with our marketing that, will this scale? Say we send, 10,000 emails and get 30, 40 positive replies. We're like, cool. Does this scale at the million, 10 million, 20? It's like that curve. There's like some curve for it where it's like, one is like diminishing return.
Yeah.
And that's something we're going to explore soon is like, let's put more gas, but we haven't had an infrastructure in place long enough to feel super confident. And you've put plenty of gas in other places. When I came in, you were putting gas everywhere. It was burning house.
Yeah. It was like a bunch of fire pits with like, in the middle of the forest. They weren't like in an actual fire pit. I was just like, I'll pour gas here and pour gas here and pour gas there.
There was a lot of spinning.
Before you know, we were just lighting the whole damn forest on fire. Like it needed to be controlled within like some cement in a nice little pretty fire pit.
Yeah, the fire's great. It's like we love the fire.
Yeah,
have the fire like in one spot.
Yeah,
the forest is going to burn down.
Yeah, controlled area.
Controlled area, especially from someone who comes from. I don't typically spend a lot, but I require a lot out of the spend that I do manage within my own company. That when I see companies with, like 10x, 20x spends, like ad spend or marketing spend, what I do, I'm like, we should definitely be getting a higher return out of this right now.
Right.
And then I know the systems that I have in place, and I'm like, oh, okay, we can definitely apply this to here. And your beast is very difficult because, not difficult, but just complex. You have so many different things with processing to sales to underwriting to fulfillment that it's like all this needs to talk, which is where your custom code comes in. But without all of those pieces and knowing all those pieces, it's like, okay, the fire burns, but it's like, why?
Well, I think it's refreshing to have a new set of eyes on it because it's not as complicated as we make it. Nothing's ever as complicated as we make it. But sometimes it's like this art of getting people, everyone sign off on it. Like I've had a lot of political issues with getting people to sign off in different areas. And, everyone has a valid point. There's nothing wrong with what anyone's saying. And I'm just trying to find like path of least resistance to get it done so I can just go do something else. Right?
Yeah.
Focus somewhere else. And revenue generating activities is what makes me the most excited. And I'm stuck in administrative related activities because we have to do this indirect thing to build the direct thing, which is going to be the dashboards and, putting the fire in the correct places and really turning it into a bonfire rather than just a few sticks and whatever.
Yeah, that's a huge part. So in our journey right now is okay, let's make a great bonfire and then let's put a bomb in it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like let's get somewhat of a hose formed and then just like shove a river through it. But we need the hose. We're like there. Hose is hosing.
Yeah.
And then the cool thing is through the idea of creating all these new things, more ideas come to us because like, wait, we could take this to different worlds, like different markets, and like we can replicate this, and that could be the thing here. We have our grand vision for like what we want everything to be in 10 years of like, what does world domination look like for us in this industry?
Right.
And that's where we're like, okay, cool. We can see the pieces start to come into place because the infrastructure we need to have the world domination infrastructure of a business of like $1 billion is a much different world than the infrastructure we currently have now.
Yeah. Maybe. I think there's a lot of new talent that needs to be hired, but I also think that current talent could be nurtured. So it's like, we can study however many companies that we want on these grand scales. Like, I'm looking at titles right now. I'm like, all right, how do I create this hierarchy of titles? Like, chief, VP, director, what does that look like? And I had to go research what to do as I was making my org charts. I'm like, this doesn't really make sense. Maybe I should do it this way and like give this title here and give this title there. And then I was like, and there's always one or two floaters where I'm like, oh, I just have to like make them a title because I don't know what their title actually is, but they're doing something really cool. And this was an exercise, I did a couple years ago, but now we have an org chart that's always being worked on. And I'm always like looking into the titles, which some people care about titles more than others. Like you and me have both openly said, like, call me the fucking janitor. What's my paycheck?
Yeah.
Like it does not matter. Call me whatever you want. But some people really do appreciate that. And I do think that it provides a level of security within the hierarchy of the company of being like definitive on who reports to who, especially the integrators. I think the integrators are individuals that really don't like change as much. The changes that they do have to implement into the company, but they want an SOP. They want a standard. They want to do the same thing every single day once it's built. And I think those titles mean a lot more to them. That's just what I've noticed. But I think everyone's a little different. It's not always about money. Title, money, work-life balance, authority. People like to be a part of like certain management teams, certain management meetings, things of that nature. Recognition, right? There's a recognition component. Like you have to tell people that you're thankful for them in some way, shape, or form, whether it's like a rep of the week, which is what we do, and sometimes we do like an admin as a rep of the week instead of a sales guy here and there. And then we'll do admin of the year, and then we'll do president's club, and we'll like do these little fun things that will get people to feel recognized, because all of that is what's important to building a culture for a company. You can't just have money being the driving goal. It can be a big factor. It can be the biggest factor, and every owner can have their own ideals and what that looks like, but you kind of need more than just the paycheck, right? You sit down with your people and actually ask them what their personal goals are, family, kids, where they're going to live, what that looks like. How can you help them achieve those goals? That's how you're going to get people to stick around the longest.
Yeah, and working with you, I've definitely seen you guys have a very, very generous like give back to your team. Because I've been around a lot of companies and no one's done the structures that you guys have to incentivize and like reward your team.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that for shit. Been around a lot of businesses.
Yeah,
very, very. It's all like I did the math in my head. I'm like, fuck, if I was an owner, that's a lot of money. Like I'm thinking about all the KPIs and all the like the bonuses and everything, and I'm like, dang. But it goes to show the ways you show appreciation for people in the hierarchy of things.
Well, the bottom line's got to win, and so it's like you could take money from a marketing budget and you could put it into a KPI budget, and there's always going to be that well-roundedness. And again, no one's ever going to be happy. So even if people are getting bonuses every single month, they get used to it. And after 10 months of doing it, now they want bigger bonuses. So that's what we deal with, which I find to be interesting. But like there has been tough conversations that we had with management team of like, all right, how do we put more into marketing? Well, what if we took away from KPIs? And then we were like, quickly come to the realization is like, at this moment, it's probably not worth it, right? We'd rather pay people KPIs and increase the marketing budget until like certain metrics are hit to where, basically becoming a sales rep and doing the bare minimum with us is like easy. It's not difficult anymore. Until that takes place, we still want to pay high KPIs. And, maybe even KPIs raise at one point in time. The whole point of the matter is like, how do you develop an ecosystem where people can feel appreciated? And because you can't go and say thank you to every single person every single day. You just can't do it, right? So then you have to delegate to your managers to do that for their subsection of team. Then you have to delegate to your managers and admin or your team leaders or whoever it is to do that. But then you give these incentives and then you still need to go, like we do a company event once a year. And what I love so much about that company event is, we're drinking a little bit. We're out by like the pool. We're like kind of going to the beach together and stuff like that. And we're all talking about work. But when I'm in the office, I always have a meeting in 10 minutes. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
There's always a meeting in 10 minutes. And so I'm like going to get my coffee or my water and I'm like, having conversations, but they're cut really short. I'm not like really getting to know them very well. And you can do this with things that are easier than trips, but because we have 3 offices, the trips make it nice, but they're costly. They're really costly to the point where we're like, does this make sense or should we put it in a marketing budget? Like we have those conversations, but it was an opportunity for like 3 days straight, 4 days straight of me like just having personal conversations with like a little work twist rather than a work conversation with a little personal twist, which I feel like is what the day-to-day is. And so taking people out to dinner and like sitting next to someone who's new, whether they could be a rep that's brand new. You got to talk to them. And then you're going to get feedback of how your company can be better through the light of someone that's a blank slate. That's not sitting in there like there's people on the team that think the same way because they're so conditioned because they've been with us for 3 years. It's nice to have like opposing viewpoints from people that are a little bit more of a blank canvas. And so spending time doing that, you're going to get a ton of feedback. You learn as much of it from your newest rep and everyone in between than as much, if not more, than what they learned from you. Because think about it, you are a fountain of knowledge as the owner. Because again, you have the most contacts, you've been doing it the longest, you're taking the most risks, but you're only one person. Whereas I'm learning from like 75 other people, a little light bulb or a little nugget about business every single day. That's making me a better leader, hopefully. So you just have to really take those little wins from those individuals and find time to become more personal. That's how you get loyalty, I think.
Yeah, I've always been, me as an owner, like when I'm working and I don't want to be talked to all day. And even when I'm at the office now, it's like I have my headphones in. It's not that I don't like anybody, but like once I get hyperfixated on something, I'm in that. And I don't want you to talk to me because then it breaks my flow state I'm in where I'm like, oh, I'm like really, really doing work.
Yeah.
I'm out of it. So then it's like, okay, I still need to develop those relationships. But that typically has to be done outside of work hours for me. It's always been like that. If I'm never working, like it's never personalized stuff. So I'm like, we're on the clock. We should be working.
Yeah.
And then when it's off, I'm like, okay, cool. We can, chit chat and say hi and late. But then most people don't want to be maybe talked to as much after 6, 7 o'clock. And you're like,
everyone clocks out at 6.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I have very little personal conversation during the day. And I'm not saying go have all those personal conversations during the day, but if you invite a subsection of your team out to dinner once a month, you do a 7 p.m. dinner on a Thursday, you have a couple drinks, like get to know each other. You're going to learn a lot about them. And that's where we incentivize, like all last year we had budgets for like team dinners. And so the team would take their team out. But it's funny because they still need to hear from you and the top level management team. So it's like you still have to organize things so they can get a little taste to touch and talk to everyone. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes we do like late nights and we'll get food and we'll hang out at the office later than normal just because like we're behind on the month or whatever. But sitting down on the floor, not like hiding in your office or on your head, like that is work. Like getting to know people and selling them on sticking with you, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, this is where we're going. Like buy into my vision. Like that takes sometimes one-on-one conversation to do that. But there's a balance and everyone's a little different.
Yeah.
Like you want to lock it in for a full day, that's fine too. And I have to do that as well on some occasions. I feel like I'm not as good at that as maybe even you are right now because I've seen you basically learn a brand new CRM and learning the language of it. Like that is taking extreme hyper focus that I feel like I have conversations with my managers. I'm like, I'm literally having a conversation with the new cleaning people that we're about to have. And then all of a sudden we're flipping into like hedge fund partnership operating agreements. I'm like, how in the world am I going from this thing to this thing?
Yeah.
And I've delegated most of it, but like, and that's an extreme example, but it's like KPIs for the processing department to disputes with an accounting clawback to, issues with the manager of a new sales floor to, personal brand, type of things. It's just like you're being pulled in so many directions. It's hard to think about one thing.
Yeah. In my head, I like to, it's all about what context I want to have today. And like I said, recently it's been like context is learn CRM. And it's been great having one context to think about. And like one, like this is my lens for every conversation. If it's not this, I don't really want to, like, that's not as interesting with work. Now, in my head, if it switched and it was like, hey, Cameron, build a team of like 20 sales guys, I would fucking be obsessed. And I would be like the most social butterfly to build that energy. And then if it was something else, I would, it's all contextual to me.
Yeah.
I know I definitely don't perform as well if I'm having to like be pulled into like all these other conversations. And it's like, this is this.
Well, that's the hard part because like there's basically two things I wanted to get accomplished this year. Thing one is build hedge fund. Thing two is perfect marketing, which is subcategory of that is the CRM because like we just need that in order to get everything where it needs to be, and it's never going to be perfected. But build the team to where it can run itself. And I feel like I'm pretty hyper fixated on both those things, but there's definitely a lot of stuff in between. And as a business owner, you have to ask yourself, how many things do you do on a daily basis to feel busy that don't pertain to your real thing? Like that cleaning conversation, to give you more context there, like that did happen. That was real. And one of the members of our team sent it directly to me. And I quickly CC'd someone else and say, whatever you guys want, I don't care. So I fixed that problem by plugging someone else into that particular situation. But it still came to me, right? And so I just feel like we all have a list of primary, secondary, tertiary, and we kind of get caught up on like, oh, well, I kind of like doing this thing, so I'm going to do this first. It's like, no, what's the most impactful thing that your business can receive? That's what you need to be working on in a hyper-focused manner. I do think you're doing a great job at it right now. I mean, I noticed that I'm being pulled in several directions. So,
I mean, to me, it's easy, especially going from like I said, when I started working with you, I was like, this is going to be easy. And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, this is easy because it went from this to before I had about 80 people texting me every day about different contracts and clients and all this. And I'm just like, talk to someone else. It's not me anymore.
Yeah.
This is so easy.
Yeah.
My phone's so much like less crazy now. And every time I get a text, not me.
Yeah.
And I have in my head, it's like a justifiable reason to be like, well, this isn't my thing anymore.
Well, that's a eureka moment too, because I was talking to Tyler today. Because, I just was like following up with him. And Tyler's a guy that we were talking to about technology and things of that nature. And I was like, well, it's funny because like Cameron is enjoying what he's doing because he just gets to do what he's good at instead of everything else. I'm not saying that that's a right or wrong answer to like, transition to a new company, but like it's a bonus right there. And I think that there's a lot of really skilled people out there. If they just did what they were really good at, for example, we want to franchise in many different areas, whether it's funding or whether it's brokering. There are great salesmen out there that can run great teams that don't want to sit down and make the hires and do the trainings and build the SOPs and communicate with the attorneys and communicate with the CPAs and create compliance. I'll be the first to admit, I don't like doing it either. It's a pain in the ass, but we did it and we built it and it's awesome. Now it's like, hey, instead of having ego and like not wanting to partner with someone, how about we figure out a franchising model to where you can have that title that you've always wanted. You have all the support that you never had before, and you can do the one thing that you're really good at, and that's closing deals, right? And that's like a big part of like what we're trying to provide to the market is getting more people involved into this business lending space because there's a lot of good salesmen out there, a lot of good salesmen. And the difference between like the salesmen is they just drive so much revenue. There's a significant upside capture, whether you give a little piece away or not, for someone else to do that hard stuff that you don't. What are you going to do? Go find a contractor to pay them a few $100,000 a year to go take care of all the minute details that someone else can just take care of for you? You might end up making more of a net profit with not having that overhead expense because ours are shared expenses because we're building systems. So it's just kind of the eureka moment of like doing the one thing that you do really well, really fucking well. And I probably need to take a little bit of my own advice right there in this weird transitionary period that we're focused on. So I do feel like I'm in a lot of areas right now.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of things too in my life, like work wise, like different industries. That's the cool thing is I've been able to touch so many industries and I can now make analogies of like, oh, it's literally like this for every industry. It just looks different.
Yeah.
And it's always been like even with film, it's like you do your best when you're hyper focused in your one world.
Yeah.
Of like when you're just lighting or you're just this, or like if you're an accountant, just be an accountant. Don't try to be an accountant and a business owner.
Right.
If you're a business owner, be a business owner.
Right.
And that's where it's like function everything there. And you can enjoy multiple things. Like I enjoy multiple things. I do like running a business, but I also hate talking to clients. It's not fun. And it's kind of like, you got to do it. So I'm like,
That surprises me. I feel like you'd love talking to clients.
No, nope, don't give a shit. I love all my clients, but I
Noah
don't.
cut.
I like my clients. I just don't like the constant checking and back and forth. And like, I like conversations like this. I want something stimulating, thoughtful, and takes more than 2 brain cells to do. The constant back and forth, not it.
Well, that's why you build a team. Like I get referrals directly to me, and I'm like, well, I could go close this deal and take a much bigger piece of the paycheck if I closed it myself, because the deals that are getting referred to me are not small deals. These are big deals, 6-figure plus commission checks. Like these are really, really big deals. I'm like, I could just take a huge payday just from doing a little extra work. The problem is that extra work, it sacrifices my attention span from something else that's going to create a machine that's going to, maybe I'll make less today, but I'll make more in the long run when I pay attention to the machine. So now I'm like, I had a conversation with someone today. It's like the one cool thing is like our sales are a little bit down this year to start, as it was at the tail end of last year. We're funding great numbers. It's not that we're not doing bad. We're just like, we're below where we wanted to be. But I was like, the cool thing is I haven't closed like any deals. And last year I was closing a lot of deals, right? Sales reps would come to me and ask me for help, and I'd give them a little nail in the coffin, one-liner, just try to like, I'll get on the phone with their actual client. I'll like, hey, you get one phone call, but it better be the phone call that like pushes them across the edge, or we realize we need to move on. Like everything else needs to be completed. I haven't really had any of those calls this year, which is maybe that's why we're not grossing as much. But you also have to take a step back at like the abstract W of like, we've actually built the sales team correctly. And so now I need to focus my time, energy, and effort on giving them the resources needed, which is why we're, so attached to the hip right now, because we're trying to figure out this marketing stuff, right? We want them to have so many inbound leads that a C- player can be an A+ player. And we're still going to find A+ players. Not going to be looking for the C- because then they're going to be A+++ players. But the point of the matter is, it's like there's a dub there. There's a dub that the sales team doesn't need me like I thought they did. And I think some people need an ego check about that, because then they feel like they're less needed within their business. It's like, no, now it's your job to keep everyone still believing in you, because now you have to do something bigger. The next thing, the next idea, right? And having that next idea is easy. It's executing on the next idea that's really fucking hard. Really hard.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just it takes extreme focus. So if you're like, for an example, if you're a sales rep and you're doing a lot of cold calls in the day, like sit down and just call.
Yeah.
For 4 hours straight and go through 1,000 if you can. Like however many you can, 4 hours. Like if there's a max number to do it, just do it. And then every time there's a little to do, just like to do it real quick and then go on.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, you can kind of check back. But that hyper focus towards a goal is what everyone, think about sports. Same thing in sports. Like every great sports player is like, this is my world. My sister, for an example, she was a Team USA figure skater, did a lot of shit. Her entire life was figure skating.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be great, that has to be just you through and through.
Yeah. I watched a documentary recently. It was about snowboarders, and it was, Olympic snowboarders. And there was like, yeah, we just like wouldn't go to school. Like teachers in Colorado are like, oh, POW day, like go do what you got to do. Like they don't really care. They kind of look at it. They kind of like turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy that even, kid athletes at that age are being encouraged, and I'm sure it happens at all levels, but like focus on your craft. It's going to make you millions of dollars versus a degree, is very speculative on whether it will or not. I guess sports is too, but
that's the culture I grew up around.
Is that how it was? Skipping school, and skipping is probably a bad word.
My siblings didn't go to school.
Yeah.
They went for like maybe
there's homeschooling or something.
Not even that.
Yeah.
Like
on paper, homeschooling.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where like you take a little they call them proctor exams. So you have like your person here, but you have your notes over here, and you're like cheating. You're like, oh yeah, totally there. They just ask you questions for like live quizzes, but they didn't go to school. Their whole life was just skating. And it was literally like wake up at 9 a.m., skate.
This was your sister and who else?
My brother.
Oh, your brother figure skated too?
They were both Team USA.
Interesting.
Chase was solo, Kate was pairs.
Really?
Yep. So that's the culture I grew up on. I would travel with them to different events.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I did
ballet?
figure skating for a little bit. I did it all. I did
Yeah.
speed skating, figure skating, horseback riding, football, crew. I mean, you name a sport, I did it.
Yeah.
I sucked at all of them. And then landed on.
Now you're just like, let me just pick shit up and put it back down.
And I'm great at that though.
You're really damn good at it. My God, I've lifted with you at the gym. I'm like, holy shit, you're like doubling my weight.
It does really well, and I'm like not.
And
even,
I'm a strong guy. I I did Olympic powerlifting. Excuse me, Olympic lifts for powerlifting in high school, and competed nationally. I'm like, holy fuck, this kid's he's a big boy.
Dude, when I went to the Arnold this weekend, it was crazy to see like what people are doing.
Yeah.
I saw a girl pull 710, and I felt like such a bitch.
Oh my gosh, but
was
you
like-
pulled more than that.
But she did it conventional, like.
Oh, you did it on
legit.
hex bar?
I did it on hex bar, so
Yeah.
it's not the same. Like, and I know that's way, way harder. Now she probably weighs 350, but like, still, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And you see guys pulling. There's like 10 guys pull 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
But it's low, but
350 is a
every-
lot though, because if you really think about it, it's only like 2x your body weight.
That is true.
That's not, I mean,
That's how it goes, though. I mean, a lot of the guys who pull 1,000 pounds are
500, probably not that much.
400
400,
pounds,
yeah.
450. Like, it is a 2x body weight deadlift.
Yeah.
So then you get into like, and that's why powerlifting is a sport, is that it really delegates body weight to strength.
They still,
versus-
so the weight classes are still a thing. That's how it was in high
yeah,
school.
absolutely. Weight classes are huge.
What's the biggest weight class?
Open.
Yeah.
So it's
What
like
is
300
that?
pounds plus.
300 plus.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So 300 is the marker, and then anything after that is
Yeah.
same.
It's
same
just
class.
a big fat guy who comes out and
Yeah.
just lifts a lot of weight.
Just heavy. Yeah.
And then it's funny though. So in strongman, you have guys who are jacked and compete. So like
Yeah.
275 lean, and they're outlifting all the really, really fat guys.
Yeah.
So then like these people's like, you don't got to be fat. But rounding it all back again, these are all people who are hyper obsessed with one thing.
One thing every
And
day.
that's who everyone's obsessed with. They're
Yeah.
cheering for. That's what they did.
But they probably didn't get that applause until they got to the stage.
Oh no, everyone was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Until-
everyone's like, dude, what's wrong with you? You don't work. You don't, you just, all you do is lift. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of hate along the way.
they're all, I mean, regardless. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how your gain was, but even when I started social media, I had a lot of people give hate for that. They're like, why are you doing social media? Why are you
Oh,
posting
I
these
still
damn
get hate
videos?"
for social media. I get hate from my own team about social media.
They're like, yeah.
It's not hate. Let me take that back. But it's like, people don't agree with it. And I'm like, dude, it's just, it's you got to build a personal brand if you really want to succeed. But I still, not anymore, but my reps get it now. But like everyone that starts in this industry is like, what you're doing is illegal. It's like, oh, because we make money and we're successful, all of a sudden it's illegal. Like,
Yeah.
go get, you know what I hate? I hate people that make outrageous claims with no education. I'm like, you want to make an argument? I'll listen to anything. I'll listen to anything that you could ever imagine, no matter how much it contradicts my own thought process, if you back it with fact. But if you just say some shit just to spew it out there, like, your argument's invalid, and now I just respect you less as a person,
Yeah. And then you give a lot of people people give their 2 cents. And one of my favorite things that I because I've had plenty of conversations with people who are very passionate about one idea, like, this is right. And I'm like, so who gets to decide what's right and wrong here? It's like, is it you? It's like, what are we going to deem here? Because if you're not open to have a conversation with somebody about what the idea behind what is and isn't right, then you're probably not in my head, you probably won't be as successful as you think.
Yeah.
Because you got to be open to hear all these things. And there's plenty of things that I don't agree with. But like you said, I'm always open to hear another opinion, because it's like, oh, maybe there is, like, I can learn something from this thought.
Like, I build out entire business models in my head that are contradictory to my own, just because I'm like, what would happen if I did this? And how would it work? And then, you come back to reality. You're like, the lift it takes to get there is so great. It's not worth it. And it would, tarnish what you've already built. But the point of the matter is not staying so fixated on that one idea or one outlook, and just being able to look at the other. That's how you develop wisdom, right? Everyone's their own main character. Everyone's their own protagonist. And there's a reason why they think the way that they do. How are you supposed to develop emotional intelligence if you don't try at least to understand it?
So one of the things I'm realizing right now that I think is funny is that there's a dichotomy to literally every single point, where we were just talking about be hyper focused, but then don't be blinded to other things with ideas.
Yeah.
So it's like, it seems like with any form of success, you got to have 2 things be true and be okay with it. And you're just kind of figuring out which thing you align with more.
Well, I think this is human nature to box things up and to make a system or a strategy behind it. Oh, well, It's 9:30 to 6. I'm hyper focused. At 6 plus, I'm going to be, available emotionally for creativity. And if you look at other people's viewpoints, like that's the first thing that what you described as that dichotomy is I thought is like, oh, you should put times to it. I'm like, no. It's a spectrum. Everything's a spectrum.
Yep.
And you got to just take away all the boxes. Like that's the hard part is like, but your team has to operate in boxes. So then there's another dichotomy. It's like you want to be a good business owner, you can't operate in the boxes, but then your team does have to operate in the boxes because that's how things actually get fucking done.
Yep.
I don't know. It's that's a philosophical conversation that we can have for probably 2 more hours.
Probably.
But I don't know. I think there's just, because then you also want to put in the word balance, and it's like business owning is not really balance. It's really running 100 miles an hour, breaking shit, going back, fixing it, and figuring it out as you go, and just being a total bull in the china shop. Being a business owner is how many mistakes can I make over the quickest period of time before I figure out the exact formula?
Yeah. Well, I think balance, I think what happened in culture is that everyone said balance and they didn't mean balance. I think they took the word out of context. I think what they meant is
Listen to your body, maybe.
Whatever the fuck works for you.
Yeah.
That's probably a better quote.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck works for you.
Balance. Whatever the fuck works for you. That's the new bumper sticker.
Having a fucking kid isn't balanced.
Yeah.
Bro. The amount of like hours you spend not sleeping and just pouring into this like meat puppet that doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
But
it gives you a reward emotionally long term. But it's like there's no balance there.
no. Starting a business isn't balanced. Like being in a relationship isn't balanced. Like
you're giving yourself to someone else.
Substantial more energy into another person than all your friends.
It's a full-time job too.
Full-time job.
Not in a negative way.
No,
for other women out there.
But you signed up for it. You're like, I wanted this.
Yes, it's you're gonna want to fucking wring each other's throat probably once a month, maybe more. But like you have to work through those problems, and like that's a part about what it's just you need someone to be your biggest cheerleader when no one else has your fucking back, and that's what I've learned with business and why having a relationship is super. It's really healthy and it's good, but that relationship also has to fuel you. But just because they fuel you in certain areas doesn't mean they can't drain you in others. And that's why it's like a constant struggle of like, I need to feed this muscle of being in a healthy relationship, just like I have to feed the muscle of my business, just like I have to feed a meat puppet. Is that what you described it as a kid?
Whatever you want to describe a baby.
Yeah. Well, you have to obviously take care of them. Like it's just, you have to feed those muscles that make you. But what I've learned so much with my relationship is how, I think this is like the wisdom of encroaching in my of turning into my 30s has given me too. It's just like, sometimes I'm like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this person, fuck this problem, throw it all away. And she's like, no. Like these people have done so much for you. Like, let's take a step back and let's try to figure out how we can all win here. And you might not get the thank you want. That's what, like, I think in my 20s, I was always looking for a fucking thank you. Hey, you're going to start a business. You ain't fucking getting one. You're not getting a thank you. No one is very rare. If someone gives you a thank you on your team, you need to be oozing with appreciation that you got a fucking thank you, because you do not hear it very often as a business owner.
Yep.
Maybe once a year at your company party, maybe every once in a while you get a thank you if you buy them food or something, but like it is very rare as a business owner for you to hear a thank you. So you're just dealing with everyone else has their job, and when they know what to do, it doesn't surpass them. But when they don't know what to do, which means it's a problem, it goes above their head to their next leader. And when it goes above their head because they can't solve the problem and they're really smart people, it goes to your head. So you're basically solving the hardest problems all day long without thank yous. Have fun, right? And so that's where the pressure of running a business it gets to a lot of people. And it's why Elon Musk says, like, I don't want to be Elon. I have very big ambitions. I don't want to be that man. I know how much shit he's dealing with. By the way, did you hear he's about to be the first trillionaire?
I guarantee
he's on pace to be the first trillionaire this year.
Absolutely. Not a single
so
question
inspiring, like in so many ways. He's a fucking monster.
Yeah. And the thing is, Elon gave up a lot of sacrifices. Like, you want something good in life, you're going to have sacrifices.
Dude, this is why Elon's a trillionaire. He sold PayPal for like $150 million, put every fucking dollar back into SpaceX and Tesla to the point where his net worth was negative. It was below zero. He was in debt to the point where he was trying to ask for investors and people were laughing in his face that he would even ask. And he was going through a divorce all at the same time. Like, that's how much risk you need to take to elevate your career to that level. And that's risk that every business owner has taken to some degree. I don't know if listen, I take a lot of risk for sure. I am very well off. We're in a fantastic spot. I have a lot to be proud of. I don't know if I can take that risk. I have no fucking clue. It's like, hey, you moved into your 30s, you built all this stability with your business. Let's just throw it all away and let's go do something else. Most people get a $150 million payday. They're like, yeah, I'll keep like being in business, but I'll be on the board. Yeah. Or I'll like start a charity or something and start giving back. Like I want to do something with my time, but I don't want to be so stressed. Bro, he just thrives off stress, which there is some degree of like, I personally need some stress in my life to feel sane. If I wasn't in business, I'd be working out more for sure. I'd be like competing in some way, whatever sport I decided. Anything that I do, I want to be the best at. But that is another scale. That is another caliber. That is another level of stress and pressure that I don't think anyone on the planet could handle. Anyone on the planet could handle that.
And you got to think about, like, people hear what you just said, and they're not really listening to everything that you just said. It's like, this
Elon
guy,
Musk is a trillionaire. I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's what people are thinking.
But here's what you were saying.
He should be solving problems. It's like, bro, he is solving problems. Like,
he was getting a divorce. As a man getting a divorce, you're like, I don't have any comfort to come home to. I don't have like that stability.
So
I don't
lonely.
have a support system.
So lonely.
Lonely. He gave up everything.
No finances.
No finances to then support this thing because he just has a vision to put people on the moon.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, I really want to do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like relationship with the kids. So like all that pain that he probably like, people would probably like off themselves experiencing what he experienced.
Where he has like an underlying why. And his underlying why is like to get people to be in an interplanetary species. And like, if you look at all of his businesses, there's some way, shape, or form that he's utilizing that business to hit his main why. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of odd, but also really fucking cool.
Yeah. But that's the thing. You just got to realize you really got to put yourself in the shoes of people who are great and like not glorify like, oh, get $1 trillion. Like, no, he probably doesn't even have like 100 grand in his bank account maybe. Like,
I bet you he's got $0 in his bank account because people don't understand stock options. He's got to sell the fucking company, which means he loses control. And if Elon Musk just went and sold every share he has in SpaceX, what do you think investors would do? Oh God, why is he selling?
Pull out.
Dump. It's not, it's so much more complicated than that. Net worth versus true value of liquidated cash is so fucking different. But it's also like kind of the art of business is you have to reinvest everything you make if you want to grow that net worth.
Mm-hmm. It's just risk.
You know what's funny is he has so many government sanctions on what he can and cannot do with SpaceX. I listened to this podcast about, it was either about him or with him. I can't remember, but people were like, oh, Elon, like, why don't you hire more people from other countries to work at SpaceX? And it's actually because SpaceX is like a defense. Rockets are defense, right? Think about like nuclear warheads. And so SpaceX is in this category of like defense for the United States of America. And so in order for certain people to work in this sector, they have to have certain clearances, and foreign individuals that are not a United States citizen can't get granted that access unless under extreme visas of some sort. I don't know how it all works, but that's why he can't. It's not that he doesn't have people of different ethnicities and races. They're just all U.S. citizens. Like he's not going to China or Russia or other places to export these really smart scientists because it's like a national security threat. Isn't that fucking crazy? And I have a little guess, I guess, of why he was being involved with what was the name of it? Was it Doge? Government efficiency?
Or no, I think Dogecoin.
What was the government efficiency? He ran the thing with the government with Donald Trump.
Oh.
As soon as Donald Trump got reelected.
I don't know.
Department of Government Efficiency. It was Doge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So I was paying more attention to this than you were clearly. But I'm thinking to myself, because, and all those same people out there are saying like, oh, he's just rich and like he should help everyone. It's like, oh, well, he just wanted to enhance his own pocket. I'm like, well, no fucking shit. Like he wanted to do something positive that could help his businesses. I don't think he's looking at it as like, I want to make more money. He's looking at it, how do I obtain more resources to get done the task at hand that I need to get done?
Yeah.
Right? We all have to look at how to obtain more resources. I think he probably wanted to like help him with the sanctions of what he can and cannot do with SpaceX. Think about how bureaucratic and political that could be.
Oh, yeah.
For you to be, I was trying to sign a lease in Nulu. And there was a work order that shut. There's something shut down the work order because they didn't have their permits in order, so they could build that office. Imagine how many fucking permits you need to send people to Mars. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sure he was getting involved in government to do everyone a favor, barely getting paid anything for it, so he could like alleviate or have like a couple people be in his back pocket in case he needs to like get something overturned with SpaceX to go do that next thing. Just like a hypothesis that I have, but
I mean, makes perfect sense. You got to think of the talent pool too of like United States has how many people like,
and none of that talent's in the government. None of it. None of it's in the fucking government.
But
I think
China's
it's getting a little bit better in some degrees, but like not. I mean, the government is just a big flashy who's dick bigger competition of, you know. Like I like the term. I like that every 4 years you get. I like term limits, I think is the correct terminology. It's basically like type of government where you have terms, but it's also like the second they start getting settled and getting things actually done, now they have to go like remarket themselves and raise money. It's like you're spending so much time, energy, and effort being a fucking marketer than you are actually getting shit done.
Yeah.
Speaking of hyper focus, how can you be hyper focused on doing anything correctly with the United States of America if 2 years later you're already up for, you know, your midterms?
No, well, I mean, that's why they have so many different departments where like, especially you get the politics, like the president really doesn't do that much. Like it's all the other houses, and like even when you vote, doesn't really matter. It's all about the electoral college in the states. So it's like,
well, there is executive authority.
yeah,
The president can basically say F you to the House and to the Senate in certain factors if they need to make a quick, speedy decision.
yeah,
In some cases. But yes, it's not as much power as people think.
yeah. It's very like
There's a lot of checks and balances.
so many checks and balances. So if you're somebody just like is really keen on like political figures, like just make more money. Like Elon, he can just get into rooms because he's Elon.
Yeah.
Like that's his power.
Yeah.
And the power came from a guy having a really strong vision.
Yeah.
So, end of story, if someone's wanting to do super grand things, you have to believe it with such conviction that it comes true.
Right.
What is like you want to be successful and better at sales, have conviction that you're like the best sales guy ever. And like just be
And make the
obsessed with that.
sacrifices to do it.
Make every sacrifice possible. And that's the thing where you want a great relationship, you want a great family, you want a great, you know, financial success. Like by whatever means necessary, do that. And it can come.
Yeah.
But think of what is it going to take to achieve that?
Yeah.
To be happy that you're having the blessing to experience the pain to then get the thing you want. So one of it's talking about like OpenAI and all these AI models and having marketing in them. So being able to pay for ad spend, which in my head, the second that ChatGPT allows us to put marketing into it, we're going to flood it with us.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
100%. Yeah, I think I'm less minded that way. I think that's kind of what like we need you for. I'm looking at all the automations that we can make within the business. Like I'm looking at a bottleneck with parsing bank statements, and AI has helped us tremendously in that workflow. And it can save you money in terms of jobs that you'd be buying or paying for. It can save you time, energy, and effort from a workflow standpoint. So the people that are doing the job are spending less time doing busy work.
Yep.
It's really what it is. Like you're never going to get rid of people. I just want people making the tough decisions. And I want the robots making all the menial decisions that don't matter as much. And that's like what I built a really big team for. So when they have a big question about a deal, they just bring me this pretty picture, full cash flow, credit analysis, background checks, everything. History of different lenders that they've worked with, and then basically say, hey, like, what do you want to do? Right. And that's what my head underwriter and that's what, you know, my fund managers need to be receiving. So I really like that idea of the workflows. I also love how like all this custom code that we're doing would have been costing me 3, 4, 5 times a few years ago. Now we can have 1 to 2 developers build everything for a very cheap cost because they're using AI to build out all those workflows and code it. AI is physically coding it. But yes, the marketing thing, I mean, you probably have more to say about it than I do.
Yeah, I mean, whenever a new marketing channel comes out, it's extremely underpriced attention. Think about running ads on Meta.
So you want to be first. Yeah.
When you first did it, it was gold mine. People were printing money.
Yeah.
Printing. But they were first.
Yeah.
Making content on social. They were first.
Yeah.
Just be the first. And sometimes you risk it and sometimes you don't. But you got to kind of like know.
Well, you just want anyone that asks ChatGPT, hey, what's up with business lending? blah, 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 blah. You should apply bluegrass lending.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Exactly.
Like, you know.
So he made another thing here where it says the national trigger lead law will go into effect, which I don't know what the trigger lead law is.
Maybe we should look it up.
I'm checking on ChatGPT because there's a lot of jargon in here. That's just like not my words.
Yeah.
So I would say make this more
National trigger law. I wonder what this is. Like a TCPA thing?
trigger lead law. All right. How consumer credit can legally be used by lenders after someone applies for credit, like mortgage loan, credit card, blah, blah, blah. A trigger lead happens when a consumer does this, blah, blah, blah. And it seems like they're just, why is it legal? I understand. This means they must actually be willing to lend. So that means they have to have a firm offer right away.
To pull credit?
Yeah.
Well, I think most people do soft pulls anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. But I think that there are, I mean, we can dive into credit for a second. You know, you could have paid every single bill in cash your entire life. And because there's no record of it in the eyes of the credit bureaus, your credit is bad.
Yeah.
So it's literally a ranking system that kind of puts you in the system. It's like you need to go get the debt system. You need to go get a mortgage. You need to go get a car loan. You need to go get a credit card because in order for us to give you a good credit score, you need to show us that you pay those things when you could just pay for everything in cash. And then you don't have good credit. You have non-existing credit, which makes it difficult for you to buy the things that are a necessity.
Yeah.
Which I just think is interesting how credit works. And then there's 3 bureaus and they all rank a little bit differently. It's like, I guess I'd rather have 3 than 1 because 1 would be susceptible to like, it's like the story of the monopoly versus like an oligopoly. Like if it was a monopoly over it, people I guess could pay them for some type of lobbying for whatever they want to do. So people get approved in certain ways, shape, or forms. I'm not sure. It's a little over my head. I don't have an example right away. But if there's only 1 credit bureau, that credit bureau would be susceptible to like fraud because big players out there would want to pay them, you know, exuberant amounts of cash to like get whatever their agenda is done. So I guess I understand that. But at the same time, it's like we have 3 different credit scores. Within the credit scores, we have several more. So you got Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, but then you have like Experian 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's like odd. I can't even give you all the details about it. But the point is like, what fucking one is it? And in order to get good at it, you have to put yourself in the system of like debt. So it's weird to me. To be honest, we pay more attention to credit's one of the least factor. As long as you don't have like bankruptcies or serious charge-offs, credit's one of the least considered factors that we have, I would say. It's more cash flow, time in business, lawsuit checks. Like we want to make sure you're not getting in trouble with the law. That's for sure. Because there's a pattern. No matter what the story is, it's a pattern, right? You're just not playing by the rules.
Yeah. Even credit's like really stupid too, because you could ask someone who has 0 credit, always paid cash, but then you add someone as an authorized user on the trade line and they automatically inherit all of your credit.
Temporarily, though.
Temporarily.
You have to be on the trade line long term.
But a lot of times what people do is they'll get like a car loan and bump their credit up to like 780 or like 800.
Yeah.
And then they don't have the trade line, but they have the car loan and it stays.
Well, you wouldn't bump up to 800 that fast. You need credit history to get like an 800.
I'd say like Jason's entire business is this.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he does is resell trade lines.
Yeah.
And he has plenty of people that just like look at home mortgages with it, which I didn't know that was a thing, but you can get a mortgage and just pop up.
Yeah.
Get a trade line. I was like, damn. Just buy and sell it.
I think there's more details there, but you are correct. You can get the trade line, get a quick debt product because you kind of trick. Because that's what the banks are doing. They're not looking. I'm sure AI will fix this in a lot of underwriting, but it's like they're just saying, oh, you check the box of this credit onto the next waterfall step, as opposed to, this credit was non-existent until 2 months ago. Clearly, this person got a trade line. That's why it takes a brain to make really good decisions. But banks are so big that they're probably only doing waterfall. So waterfall is basically you have to check off this line to get to this line. And if you check off this line, you can get to this line. And it's like a model. And if you learn that model, you can kind of flub what's taking place to ensure that you get what you want, which is what a trade line is bypassing.
Yeah. Another one of these is, what is the biggest lie that brokers tell merchants?
That here's a term sheet, and if you take my short-term high interest rate loan, you'll get this beautiful term loan afterwards. Mm-hmm. There is never product A that gets you to product B, ever. I'm not saying that you can't use product A to get to product B. We will apply if a merchant wants an SBA or a term loan, you apply directly for an SBA or a term loan. First of all, they're two different pools of money. An SBA is backed by the federal government. A merchant cash advance is private money, 9.999 times out of 10. So how does private money equal federally backed money? That doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. But we will get people SBAs, and during that process, they need bridge funding, and then we structure the bridge funding to where it won't inhibit the SBA. That can happen, but it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? You never need to take a high interest rate loan to get to a low interest rate loan. That is never what happens. The low interest rate loan is a siloed, independent workflow. The high interest rate loan is a siloed, independent workflow. If you need one to bridge the gap while you get to the other, it's two totally separate siloed workflows.
Mm-hmm. Do you think most ISO owners are building real companies or just high-paying jobs?
I think most of them are high-paying jobs. I think I've fallen victim to that in degrees. It's all about reinvesting. Mm-hmm. So I was saying earlier in the conversation, we're talking about how I haven't really closed a deal this year. It's a good thing. It means we're building an actual business that you can stand on its own 2 feet and reinvest. But my vision is big. Like people want crazy things within the business, and they've been with us for a while, and it makes sense. But the word equity gets thrown around, the word profit share gets thrown around. I'm like, I'm not opposed to any of those things, and that doesn't mean that because you're a younger company you can't give those things out. That's totally fine. But what I don't think people understand is I'm not gonna fucking stop until we're doing $100 million a month, mm-hmm. and we're not close to that. So I need to make sure I preserve as many resources as possible to build the correct team to get us there, which I believe that the team we have is 100% a team that can get us there. I think that there needs to be more people on that team. I think the team we have is a great team. There needs to be more of them. And then I also think that the current team we have needs to continue to stay open-minded, because the same thought processes that we have today is not going to be the same thought processes that we're going to have to get this $100 million goal.
I mean, the thing is, people get so, back to all the dichotomies we talked about, people get so hyper-fixated on their craft that they actually get really, really bad at doing other things in their life. So it's like you'll be maybe such a good accountant that you're now terrible with people, you're terrible in your relationship, and you're terrible with XYZ, but you're a great accountant.
Yeah.
But maybe you being a great accountant's not as important as you being a really, really good team player, and then you could manage other people really well and communicate your ideas even better to then allow you to grow past yourself. Because you got to be very honest with I'm just one person, and I will always be one person.
Yeah.
And my value eventually will be, can I make better decisions than other people? And that's my value, but not deriving your value from one role. I feel like a lot of C-level execs that I've met with are like, I'm a CTO. I'm very proud of being a CTO and da-da-da-da. And I'm like,
well, some people care about title more than others. I don't personally think title matters.
I don't think it matters at all.
But I think it's helpful to build a hierarchy, to have that laid out, organizational chart. But I just think, listen, are you providing 10 plus X value in your role, then, in terms of the revenue that you're generating? If you cost $100,000 a year, you need to be able to produce $1 million worth of value, whether it's direct or indirect. And that's the hard part to quantify, is that indirect value. Yeah. How do you value an accountant, right? It's hard. You can talk about money saved, but you kind of don't need to save money if you want to grow. You want to save money in certain areas. You don't want to have stupid spending, but you need to reinvest. Mm-hmm. So that's going to contradict profit margins. Yeah, I don't know about the psychology of the title. I mean, I guess I cared about it when I was a broker. I wanted to be a team leader, and then I realized team leader was I guess I knew right from the beginning. I knew team leadership was really hard. I think what my reps can go wrong with is they want to be team leader so bad, then once they get it, they're like, now I can chill. It's like, no, your job just got a lot harder. Yeah. And you have to give a lot of your paycheck away in a lot of instances to make sure that your reps can, pay the rent. Yeah. At the very beginning when they're getting their feet wet.
Well, you get a bigger piece of smaller pie.
Yeah.
And it's what does that really mean?
No, vice versa. Smaller piece of a bigger pie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Words. I'll make plenty of analogies and I'll say it and I'll be like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got the idea. I think more clarifying a little more on what I was saying is are you a good person as well? Are you open-minded? Are you judgmental? Are you super aggressive? Because a lot of C-suites are still that. They're really, really good at their craft, but they're not a great person. And Gary Vee talks about this a lot of I'd much rather have a B player, but they're an awesome person than like an A++ player, and they're like kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. I saw another post recently. It was this individual who was like, people that are going to come into a business and rock a boat have a harder time keeping a job than shitty players that don't speak up at all. Because although they're not getting the job done, they're not pushing revenue, they're just kind of not in the limelight. And then there's people that are rocking the boat that have more speculation around whether they're, what their job's going to entail in the future, because it's like, you are the person challenging management. You are the person that's going to push the envelope. And I'll be the first to admit, people that challenge me, I don't love being around all the time, but like, it's very important that they do, because it's like, okay, there's so many different people and they all have a voice for their subsection of people. And it's really good to hear. But at the same time, it's like, that requires way more energy than someone that's just, I don't know what the definition of a good person is, but someone who's just going to agree all the time.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to do both. Like, you can challenge management and also not be unpleasant.
Well,
but
I think
it's
that's
like
the difference between the quote of like, are you a nice guy or are you a good man? And I'd much rather be a good man than a nice guy.
yeah, a good man does what's right regardless of the consequences. Made that up. Sounds right though.
Yeah. It's just conviction. Like, you have conviction towards the things you're passionate about. And you feel like, because I know I have a lot of thoughts and feelings behind how things should be ran, communicated, how people like, if I had a perfect world, people would be a lot different than they are now. But they're not that. And that's okay. But I know if I want to be a good man, it's going to require me upholding the philosophies that I think because of this, and being able to relay that in a kind manner to other people and hearing them out. But it's all of these like, can I not have an ego? Can I decide to view this in a different light? Can I take a step back from my anger and be like, where's this person really coming from here? But those are the things where it's like, don't be a nice guy. We're like, oh yeah, totally. Just like, there's never like something about you that's kind of like you're really fighting for. Because even the people you probably disagree with are really fighting for their thing.
They're fighting for something that's very, and the thing is, we're all fighting for the same business, which is what you got to understand. But sometimes things can be delivered incorrectly. You also have to recognize that. There's so many occasions where like someone will deliver something incorrectly to me, and I'm like, I could set an example out of this. And then the other side of me is like, it's really not fucking worth it. Like, just acknowledge that it wasn't personal, and that person's probably going through whatever they're going through, and they're really just fighting for the same asset you are in a different way, with a different, with a different light in mind, with a different lens in mind.
Yeah. It's really funny. I've had a really fun relationship with, I think something, I say something, someone else hears something, and then they think something else. And there's 4 different instances where that thought could have changed from here to there to you to all that. And I'm like, and I have to go back in conversation and be like, at what point did this fail? Because I didn't mean it like that. Because you got to ask someone else, be like, what did you hear when I said that? I'm like, well, I heard this. I'm like, did I say that? And they're like, well, no, but I heard it. And you're like, okay, well, when I said it, did what I want to come out actually come out? And it's just this super complex psychology game of how do I relay something to someone else that makes sense to them? And it's different for every single person.
Yeah. Interesting.
Communication sucks. I hate it sometimes, but it's
Well, it's awesome. It's a superpower, but it's like, it's a very, when you're managing a lot of people, it's hard.
yeah, I'm managing a lot of people.
Because the thing is, like, what entrepreneurs need is other great communicators that can help you communicate, right? Because that message needs to go from the top level management team to the independent silos all the way down to the new rep, to the new admin. Like, they all need to kind of be on the same team. And so I think in some instances, we have to question the communication skills of our leaders, right? And us as well. There's still that translation that can be lost, but the leaders have to be able to effectively deliver that message. And that doesn't mean that they have to be the guy on stage giving a speech, but it means in the little things that they do, are they embodying your vision and your culture that you want? Have you guys come to an agreement on that, right? Do you guys all have the same shared vision of what that culture is supposed to look like? And then how do you make sure that that culture is carried out in the little actions every day? Whether it's an interaction over the water cooler, or whether it's a company-wide email, or whether it's a speech at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I mean that's the huge thing. And this is a skill. No matter who you are, you can benefit from. Like, learning good communication will benefit you regardless of what you do in life.
And Gary Vee says over communicate. You mentioned him earlier.
And
I try to do that.
I'm trying,
Sometimes that bites me though. Sometimes you give too much information that's not, like sometimes I'm working on things that are new and I'm like, I don't want the team to be involved in it yet. But then they take it as like, what are you doing? Like, we need to know what's happening here. I'm like, well, this doesn't have to do with your department. And I'm trying to make sure, like, you guys are already having bottlenecks in certain areas. I want you to focus on those bottlenecks, not the new thing that I'm doing that doesn't need you yet. But when I'm ready, I'm going to deliver you guys a like full working plan of what it's going to look like.
Idea. I think one of the reasons you might feel this too, I think one of the reasons I don't like communication the way most people prefer it is because my brain works so fast that like I just want to keep jumping and jumping and jumping. And I don't want to take the time to slow down and check in with everything I say because I feel like it's, to me, I don't enjoy that.
Well, that might be a hiring problem. Find people that understand your ideals better.
Well, I think even with, this is a life thing with me.
Yeah.
Like this is a friendships, like whoever it is, I just don't enjoy slowing down and being like, so what'd you hear there?
Yeah.
Because I'm so like, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
But
I think it's an important skill to have, but you can also just surround yourself with less of those people that need that.
True, but then I have the idea of like everything's my fault and I got to be better. So like, be better communicator. Like that's at least how my brain works. If something doesn't go wrong, I got to be better at something.
Yeah, you're never gonna win.
Well, true,
because it's your fault.
That is true. I told my
so no matter what happens, it's Cameron's fault.
Facts. No, I told my I said I grew up with Gary Vee. Gary Vee is like all about like hyper accountability, and I have the honest belief if I got in my car and drove outside and someone hit me, it'd be my fault because I decided to go outside and drive my car.
Yeah. I didn't look both ways correctly, or I wasn't as vigilant on the road as I needed to be.
Exactly. But I feel like one of the reasons I'm at where I'm at in life and why other people aren't is that I directly attribute that to that hyper accountability.
Yeah. No, I had an issue today where someone, you know, whatever there was merit or not to their claim, in my opinion, I viewed it as someone that was not taking accountability for what could have been lack of skill set. That happened this morning. So it happens frequently.
Yeah. When it gets hard too, because I know I have that idea of hyper accountability and not everyone does. And I'll sometimes impose that idea on other people because I feel like everyone should be like that. And it gets me in trouble. So I'd be like, wait, everyone's not as, it's my fault as me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And that's communication too. Be like, all right, someone's not going to have the same ideology of how I even handle conflict.
Yeah.
So with everything we're talking about right now, like this is owning a business. Like it is learning communication skills. It's learning taking accountability. It's learning delegation, which is ego. And it's all these like higher level philosophies that really help you grow. And when you have conversations with anybody who's really successful, they're great at this shit. They're some of the smartest people you know when it comes to, you know, psychology and philosophy, because they have to understand that to grow.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is like I went to Alex Hormozy's workshop. We are all dealing with the exact same fucking problems, just different industry.
Yep.
And there's a different problem that's more important to you at that particular point in time. But we are all dealing with the same exact shit. That's what I learned. Every single person I met, I was like, we're all the fucking same.
Mm. What were those issues they were dealing with?
Personnel issues, making sure that SOPs were streamlined, like how do you get your sales reps to produce more? Like just, it was all the same. Hiring issues, you know, marketing issues. Where am I going to spend the proper money? Like there's so many little things that it just turned into, you know what we should do? We should just go back there and pitch them all loans.
Probably.
Because there's about 70 business, it costs $5,000. There's 70 business owners and you get one to convert. It basically pays for itself.
Did you not do that when you went there?
I did a little bit, but like I wasn't like going in there like everyone take loans from me. Like I was, you know.
You were just gung-ho about it.
Well, I didn't view it as that type of opportunity. I mean, I met some guys in marketing, some guys in technology that I'm following up with today to ask them questions here and there. I met a bunch of guys, a bunch of people, but guys and girls, very, very creative, all business owners. And I met a female that owned a community and I was asking her questions. I was like, hey, I'm in the process of like trying to build my community. Like, this is what I'm thinking. Like, tell me a little bit about your experience. But, you know, most business owners aren't as big as like, it's hard to be $1 million a year business owner.
Yeah.
10 million is very hard. Like to get where we got, it gave me a lot of like confidence of like, wow, I've done a really cool thing really early on. And I'm like surrounded by 50, 60-year-olds that went to school for 12 years to learn, you know, what dentistry, whatever it is. And like, they're just, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just, you got to just learn to fail really fucking early. You got to learn to fail really fucking early.